you worry about bills? Do fuel tariffs give you a headache? Do you know someone who needs a change of tariff to save some money? Well, our next guest can help save you hundreds a month for life. Stars of BBC's Dragon's Den, Look After My Bills, promise to take care of your energy bills, saving you money month on month. Well, Henry joins us now from the company. Are you there, Henry?
Good morning, Nick.
Hi, tell us how you can save us all some money.
Well, it's very simple, really. Look After My Bills is a free service. You can sign up on the website, Look After My Bills, or you can give us a call. And what we do is we will hunt down the best tariff for you. We'll move you energy tariff for you. We'll move you onto it. We'll then monitor your situation. And then when that deal ends, we'll automatically move you onto another deal so that you're all saving. Because at the moment, there's this kind of slightly ludicrous situation where you go get most people can't even face switching or going on price comparison websites to try and find a deal, which I totally understand because it's hard work and it's boring, and people have got better things to do in their lives. But even if you do all of that, you get a good deal for a year, and then that good deal comes to an end, and then they rip you off again and hike your prices. So you always have to constantly be on the watch, on the lookout for being ripped off. So we take all of that pain away, and we're saving people, 250 plus quid a year at the moment, and on an ongoing basis. So we really believe this is kind of the future of dealing with your household bills. We deal with electricity and gas at the moment, but we could do that with your broadband, with your car insurance, your home insurance. You're kind of outsourcing it to the experts to do the hard work of finding deals for you and putting you on them constantly every year.
So a lot of people paying too much for their electricity and gas then. Is that something that's quite prevalent? Because I thought that people were generally finding out more about switching. Are people still paying too much?
Unfortunately, that is the case. So while we have seen a slight rise in the number of people who are switching, the truth is 60 to 70% of people don't tend to switch, and therefore they will be paying about £300 more a year than they could be. And unfortunately, the big six energy companies don't really have too much of an issue with hiking prices whenever they can to take advantage of the fact that people aren't necessarily shopping around. But we also understand that people have better things to do in their lives than spend hours on price comparison websites and getting bills out and looking up things, and therefore they don't necessarily understand that they could be saving so much if they go elsewhere.
So how do you do things like the idea of collecting data from your meter and things like that? Do you still have to do that and give you data to get the best deal?
Yes, so we try and keep it as simple as possible. So when you sign up, you can get the information that we need. We can work it out. You can tell us by getting some information from your bill about how many kilowatt hours you use, if you want to. But we can also estimate that kind of thing from the size of your house to make a kind of rough estimate from how much you use. The key point is that you kind of get off the very worst deal and onto a much better deal sooner rather than later, because you're kind of overpaying a lot at the moment. So we try and make it as easy as possible, and you don't have to kind of give all sorts of kilowatt hours or God knows what to get it all done. Though the more info we have, the more accurate we can be in terms of your saving.
How is the sector and your business more directly affected by capping the prices in the energy market?
It's a great question, Nick. So, actually, Look After My Bills, we have been one of the only switching sites that has actually been below the price cap, because our view is that, unfortunately, despite years of people saying you should switch, most people don't do that, and therefore that is often the most vulnerable and the eldest. Elderly, and they've therefore been faced with higher prices, and therefore the price cap will benefit those people. But we've only seen very recently that the price cap has actually gone up in price. So while the government said, we'll cap prices in February, they actually announced that they were increasing the price cap by over £100. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be the perfect situation for people. And the truth is that if you do switch or you use Look After My Bills and we'll do it for you, you can be saving £200, £300. And that's the kind of like the key thing on a yearly basis.
And that's a lot of money a month, isn't it? So how, if it's no cost to us, how are you making money?
A really important point, and we're very good at it. So the reason we're able to keep the service free for consumers is because we actually get paid a commission by the energy companies that we switch you to. And that's a very similar model to what price comparison websites do. We're very clear about that. It says it on the front page of our website. But the most important thing is that we also triage who we switch you to on the basis of not just price, but also customer service. So there's energy companies who want to pay us for the customers we can bring them, but we wouldn't send you to them because their customer service just simply isn't good enough. So that's that kind of like added reassurance and all this stuff. But that's how we can keep the service free for users.
So one of the questions that some people might be thinking is if they're particularly environmentally friendly or they want to have preferences towards companies who might like renewable energy more, how have you got those filters and preferences in your system, or are you just going straight to the cheapest?
No, absolutely. So that's another very important point. So when you sign up on the lookaftermybills.com website, you can see that you have a few choices, taking information from you about your kind of current situation and where you live, so we can make that kind of switch. But you also got choices around if you want to be only switched to renewable energy, then you can click that button and we will only switch you to green energy from then on. So we'll try and find the best possible price we can from a green energy company. So there's a little bit of personalisation there. A whole watch. I mean, really excitingly, we launched last year at the very start of January 2018. So just over a year now, and we've actually got nigh on 100,000 people have signed up, and tens of thousands of those have gone for the renewable option, which is something we're very proud about, that we've got so many people going green.
That's great. One of the sort of groups of people who particularly will need your support are the old or maybe vulnerable people. How is your website particularly accessible for them? Is it easy for those who might find it hard to access the online? Is it easy for them to get on and get involved?
Yes, of course. So that's a really important point. So there is the website that people can go on, but not everybody finds that the easiest thing. So there is a phone number with our UK-based call centre that anybody can call and give us a ring, and we will. I'm afraid it is only during the week the working hours for that centre, but people can sign up over the phone, or we can talk to them about the service over the phone. We can work out how much we could save them over the phone, and then they can decide whether they want to take the service over the phone. So there's that there for everybody as well, which we think is really important.
Henry, that's fantastic. So let's tell me that website again, the number if you've got it there, so people can get in touch. Yes,
so it's lookaftermybills.com, and the phone number is 0203 951 6611.
Thank you very much. Now, tell us a little bit about your background, because this is a bit like a brainchild of you and somebody else, isn't it? And tell us your journey to success.
Yeah, so my co-founder and I, we're very old friends from university, actually. We played in the same football team at university, and we've been best buddies for quite a while now. The best part of 15, 20 years, which ages us a little bit. But we've always been, we always felt that the kind of consumer markets didn't really kind of work for customers, in the sense that you had to, like I said before, you have to be constantly engaging in the market, engaging with finding a new deal. Otherwise, you basically kind of get ripped off. That whole kind of like, we kind of described it like the Freddy Krueger economy, where in the Nightmare on Elm Street films, you fall asleep and then you get attacked by Freddy Krueger. It's like if you fall asleep, in any sort of the kind of car insurance mobile broadband energy, where if you just kind of forget about it or fall asleep, you get ripped off, and that's a disgrace. And we originally actually started off. We've been doing energy switching since 2014 now, and we originally started off doing kind of collective bargaining for consumers. The idea was getting tens of thousands of people together and trying to get cheaper deals than they could get on their own. But actually, we just realised that the real issue was that people don't have the time or energy to do the switching. And we were like, well, can we flip this whole thing on our head and do it for people? And that's how we came up with the idea of Look After Our Bills. We also had people saying, please, we trust you to get a great deal. Can you not just do it for me every year? And so that's kind of where we kind of the idea came from. And we launched it in 2018. We actually spent a little bit of time in San Francisco, out in Silicon Valley, because we at the start of last year, because we got some investment from a startup investor who'd invested in Airbnb and Dropbox and other such things, which was very exciting. And we launched the product, and then it's grown massively since then. So hitting 100,000 customers, and obviously we did Dragon's Den last year, which was amazing.
Now tell us a little bit about that experience, if you can. What was it like? Was it a bit scary?
It was definitely scary, and it was kind of a totally extraordinary experience. I mean, I think the main thing is that it was you. I mean, they literally do not know anything about you whatsoever. So when the lift door opens and you walk out, it's the first time they've ever seen you, the first time they've heard anything about you. And it is pretty intimidating.
Do they ever smile at you, or is it just quite literally folded arms, sort of,
It is to begin with.
It's sort of like adversarial.
Yeah, it is a little bit. I mean, they're kind of, they're eyeing you up to begin with, so that's kind of like the way it is. But, I mean, the other thing that's fascinating is that we were actually in the den being kind of interviewed by them for 3 hours. And actually, they cut that down to like 12
3 hours?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. It's quite incredible. They cut that down to kind of 12 minutes when you're on TV. And I think what was fascinating was that, what we watched the show live. We actually filmed the show in April last year, but they didn't show it until August. So it was quite a big gap, which was another kind of slightly extraordinary thing. But we were watching it on TV when it went out live, and the whole kind of like discussion on social media and Twitter and everything was kind of like was fascinating, because you'd see people going, oh, these dragons, they haven't asked any questions, they haven't asked any of the tough questions. And I was thinking, guys, they literally asked every single possible question you could imagine. We were in there for 3 hours, but they just had to cut it down for TV. So it was, it was a very exciting experience. But Nick, I have to tell you one thing, which is that the lift is not real. It is a fake lift.
It's the showbiz gossip here on Solihull Radio today.
Yeah, exactly.
It was me thinking that you did your bit, and maybe you had to do it like 3 times in case you went and they had to edit it down. So 3 hours is epic. And how?
They don't. There's no reshooting or anything. If you mess up and go, they love that. So there's no chance to retake it, I'm afraid.
Did you rehearse?
We did. We were up at pretty late the night before, kind of like rehearsing how we were going to say things and trying to come up with the answers to all the possible questions that were going to come. So
did you have anyone standing in for dragons, like your mum or something?
No, we didn't actually. Nick. So we should have had. You're right. What we should have done was got a bunch of friends to grill Look After Our Bills gang and pretend to be Peter Jones and Jenny Campbell and Solihull. But we were very lucky to, all 5 of the dragons made offers. Gosh, I mean, you didn't see this in the show, but they all made offers twice. We actually went to the wall kind of 3 times, and we were very, very lucky to manage to get a deal with Jenny Campbell and Solihull, which I believe is the best deal, best valuation deal in the history of Dragon's Den.
So what was it? What did you go for in the end?
So it was, we ended up doing £120,000 of investment for 3% of the company. That was what was shown on TV. And
what's their support been like over time? What's happened? Have you sort of said, there's the money, and off you went and you've done your own thing and they're in the background, or are they actually taking an active part in your business?
Yeah, they have. I mean, I think it's been, still quite early days. It was August when they were kind of like it was officially announced and all that kind of jazz. We've met with them both a few times, and they've always been on the end of a phone and an email to answer any kind of questions, and they've been supportive. I think, we've been lucky because we've been growing pretty fast, so they haven't. I don't think they've had any cause for concern as of yet, if you see what I mean. Maybe if we weren't doing very well, then they might be a little bit worse. But they've been incredibly nice and supportive and helpful in lots and lots of ways. So I'd highly recommend it for anybody it's obviously a risk, and we were very nervous that it could blow up in our face, but I think it's it's an exciting experience. You only live once, so it's worth rolling the dice is our view.
So you're obviously a very successful entrepreneur and businessman. What advice would you give for a smaller business that sort of wanted to follow in your footsteps? And then maybe you've got a great idea. What would you say to them?
Gosh,
tough question, I know.
It's very kind of you to say that, Nick. It's still extremely early days for us in terms of our journey, and it is. I've never really thought about that kind of advice. I suppose the key thing would be to kind of is focus, ensuring that you know the thing that you really want to do, and you don't get distracted, and you focus on making that happen as much as you can possibly do. Because one of the things I certainly found when I first started the business, it's quite easy to get kind of we could do this, and maybe we could do a little bit of this, and we could do this as well, and this would help in this kind of way. But actually, when you really focus down on things, on what needs to happen, there's always kind of one thing that you're right, actually, this is the thing that we've got to actually make happen at work, and that is a kind of a key thing. So that would be my vague bit of advice.
So I'm guessing planning is pretty important as well. You would want to make sure that you've got a concrete business plan. Without that plan in place, you wouldn't have got the funding you got from the Dragons, for example.
I think that's right. I think we were lucky in the sense that we weren't like a kind of brand new business, in the sense that we've been going for a few years. We've got some customers already. There was kind of traction there. I think if you walk into the den with just an idea, I think it's a lot harder, and the valuations will be much lower. It's much easier for them to go, well, this is just an idea, what have you actually done? Whereas if you can go in and say, well, we've actually made this amount of money, we've got this amount of customers, and this is where it's going, and the projections on it, I think you're in a much stronger position, which, look after our bills, we were lucky enough to be able to do.
Henry, you've been a star. Thank you very much for coming on. Will you come on again?
Absolutely. Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Wonderful. Give me that number and that website again for saving money.
So I think I actually got it wrong the last time. I just thought about it. It's a bit embarrassing. It's 0203 950 6611.
Fabulous. And the website again?
Lookaftermybills.com.
Perfect. Thanks ever so much for coming on Solihull Radio.
Thanks ever so much.
Catch you soon.
Bye.
You're listening to Solihull Radio.
Thursfields is one of the region's most respected law firms with more than 120 years' experience. Winners of the Chamber of Commerce Excellence in Professional Services Award and High Growth Business of the Year Award. We have over 150 experts working across 8 regional offices, all dedicated to finding you real solutions. Get to know us better at thursfields.co.uk.
Solihullradio.com.
Hi there, I'm Joan Smith and I'm passionate about helping businesses grow. I'm an impartial broker working with experts in all areas of business support. I can support your business through different areas, for example, grants, loans, apprenticeships or training or general business advice. Get in touch via gintro.co.uk. Thanks a million.
Parkview in Shirley is a stunning residential development of 27 two-bedroom apartments. Modern, stylish and luxurious, the exceptionally high-quality properties are centrally located and next to the popular high street, with plenty of bars, restaurants and shops and an enviable view of Shirley Park. Parkview is an ideal home for first-time buyers as it's supported by the Help to Buy scheme and requires just a 5% deposit. Created to exacting standards, the apartments have allocated parking and cycle storage. With prices starting at £190,000, Parkview is superb value for money. For more information and contact details, visit parkviewshirley.co.uk.
You're listening to Solihull Radio.
Indian Dream on Dove House Parade, Solihull's premier family-run restaurant offering authentic Indian and Bangladeshi cuisine with fresh ingredients and creative chefs. They can provide bespoke dining experiences, eat in or take away. 0121 704 9058.